So now I'm going to cover live operation of Ignite during a production. So we've gone and imported our show from our newsroom computer system, and you can see here we've got events stacked on our event list. Again, color coding is important. Black is fade to black, red is SOTs, which are sound up fulls. Yellowish orange colors are VOs, which are voiceovers. And so quickly I can see that as I scan through my events, I'm coming out on a sound up full, transitioning to some VOs, and now let's go ahead and operate it. So to advance the list, we simply press our button on our panel, and you'll notice that it transitions through the fade to black and preps my next show, and it waits. At this point, the system's waiting for me to either execute this event or I can skip to the next event. I can see that in preview, I've got audio set in channel A, which is going to come up full. And so as I select it and I take it, it executes a crossfade up. The A channel is up. And if I needed to adjust audio, I could come to my KATALYST panel and I could pot up or pot down. I could also permanently adjust an audio source by simply coming into the audio section and grabbing the red limiter with my mouse and sliding it down to -10. At this point, this is my new up full level. So you'd use this for a specific source that's coming in consistently, maybe a little hot. Again, moving along, I can see that my next story is a video. I can see that I've got mic 2 and mic 3 coming up full, and I can see video server B transitioning. You'll notice on my event list that auto server channel is being selected. And what auto server channel is we don't actually have to specify the video server playouts. Ignite is smart enough and intuitive enough to manage a pool of the video server panels, and it knows which is available, and it loads whatever piece of video is needed into the next available channel. And it keeps the video and audio synced as well. So we'll transition this next. Again, it's performing a nice, elegant crossfade, similar to what an actual audio operator would be doing in a live broadcast. Again, you'll see my motorized sliders on the KATALYST panel here are keeping in sync. If I needed to adjust anything briefly, I could. And I'm waiting to execute this next event. Now you'll notice if I was looking in the preview monitor and noticed that this live event was the wrong source on video, I could simply go to my KATALYST panel and select the next story. I can skip to that story, I can skip to the next story. At any point, I can take whatever story that the producer might tell me we're going to next. So in this case, I'm going to prep story A6, which is another voiceover. I can see that it's going to come out of D because I'm looking at my preview audio, and I can tell that the D server channel is next, and we'll transition that source. Again, it performs an elegant crossfade with my microphones up. I also have the ability in the KATALYST panel to insert live events on the fly. The KATALYST panel has two primary functions, the first being audio adjustments, and the second being insert of live events. The button panel here has the ability to insert all of the events outside of the event list live on the fly. Essentially, we can punch a whole show, a basic broadcast with our KATALYST panel only. And how it works is you select one of the events you might want. So in this case, I'm selecting X1, which is one of my video server playout channels. And when I press that button, it'll take that source full and it'll transition the audio. I can also insert items onto my event list. You may run into a scenario where you simply want to insert a camera and then come out, talk about some breaking news, and then continue on with your show. So in this case, I can insert my camera. It's inserted it, and you'll notice it's pushed everything else down on my event list. And then I can come back, I can prep that event, and take it live on air. Next, I'd like to talk about some of the playlist features that are set up in our center monitor for our event list. The first far left list is our clip assets. And we can see that we've got certain stories, A6, a package, and we can see that it's loaded in server channel C. I can see that I've got another story, A11, which also has a video asset, and it's loaded in channel A right now. At any point, if I want to jump to that story, again, we've already seen that we can sequence through all of our events by merely hitting the next event or previous event button. But we can also take our mouse and come to this list and select the story we want. So now when I select A11, it'll take me to that event, and then I can prep the event and put it in preview. So now it's loaded everything in the appropriate channels that needs to play it out. And when it's time to take the event, I merely execute it. And again, it performs it, does any audio transitions. It might recall CGs. Speaking of CGs, we can see the CG list directly below the video playlist. And in A12, I can see that the VO has a particular lower third CG. And I can see that A13 has 3 different CGs. Again, these automatically get recalled, and the director can either insert them manually via the KATALYST panel, or we can have the events built with the executions happening automatically. So we've covered the live event list and how we can transition through all of our events and skip stories. And the next thing I'd like to cover is what happens when we have things, elements, CGs, full screens that we need to insert that maybe we didn't plan for. We have the ability within our far left monitor to browse all of the different assets for video server channels that we might have connected. So I can come to server A and I can look for a particular video that I know is in the system. Maybe the producer has told me that the particular clip might be called Patriots Point. And so I can automatically select that and load it into a channel. And by double clicking, I've now loaded it into the channel. I can come to my KATALYST panel and take that video server channel full. Again, it didn't require the producer or anyone else to program anything. We also have the ability to manually recall CGs. So if I come into this section, you can see that I can call up a CG channel. There's channel 1, there's channel 2, and maybe there's a particular anchor CG that I might want. When I locate it, I simply select the graphic and it automatically loads it to the channel, and then I could key it on or off manually via my KATALYST panel. Again, that comes in really handy with name supers and things that maybe someone forgot to program an anchor's name super, and then we can recall it manually at any point. The same holds true for camera presets. Now again, robotic camera presets are almost always programmed into our events. That's something that we don't want to have to think about. But if, say, I wanted to trigger a robotic camera to truck over to the weather center, and maybe it's a long ways away from where the camera is now, I can literally select that camera, and that'll start the camera to truck over to the weather center. Next, we're going to talk about our late breaking news keys. This is a philosophy that's unique to Grass Valley and Ignite. Late breaking news keys are hotkeys that we can insert on the fly. Again, we have our list, and this list was already predetermined, but it's another way that we can insert whole sequences of stories that maybe we had decided we wanted to float and use later, or maybe we have some late breaking news and we want to come out on a particular camera. So by taking my mouse and highlighting the late breaking event that I want, I can insert that into my event list, and then I can prep it into preview, and then I can execute the event. And again, once it executes the event, it keeps me in sync with the rest of my story. If I want to continue on with where we were in the rundown, I could, or I could select another event. In this case, I'm going to select a different camera. Maybe I want the other anchor to talk right now, so I select that event. It inserts another camera. Again, we can prep it. We can take it. And then we can continue on with our show. We can either pick up with where our rundown left off, or again, we can skip down to a different section in our list by hitting the next story button. And when I'm lined up with the story that I want to take, again, I can prep it and I can take it. It's important to remember that with the KATALYST panel, we have the ability to insert all of these late breaking news keys on the fly. The advantage to having them built in the GUI as well is that you have a backup. So that was a basic overview on how to operate Ignite during a live broadcast. It's important to remember that while Ignite may be production automation in the sense that it executes events, the operator always has the flexibility to skip an event or to insert an event from the KATALYST panel. There's always a way to adjust audio or manually recall any of the devices that could be connected to your system. For more information, please visit www.grassvalley.com/ignite.